What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here, and today we're going to talk about how you can spice up your disc golf game if you've been having a little trouble or you aren't finding disc golf as fun as normal. But before we dive in, we got to ask the most important question of the day. Who was saying hi to? Who was saying hi to? It's really windy. It's really windy. Got it. How you doing today, Gail? You having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
I think there is a moment that comes in disc golf, whether you've been playing for 2 months or 2 years or 20 years, where you have played this game so much and it starts to feel a little mundane, boring, less exciting than ever before. And we all want to find a way to really bring that joy back to the game. But it seems like we don't really have options or ideas to do so, and so we just go back out and continue to play the same way, which can lead to frustration because you aren't scoring the way that you want to, or it can lead to just a host of other feelings and things. So what I wanted to do is give you just a few ways that I think if you find yourself in a stalemate or you find yourself struggling to enjoy the game of disc golf, these could be really fantastic options for you. And I guess I'll go like classic YouTuber and say that like number 4 is my favorite. The first one is to find wacky lines that you've never thought about using before. So, for instance, here we're playing to that yellow basket that's all the way back there. And I have thrown lots of hyzer flips there in the past. But you know what I've never done? I've never tried to take an ozone, which is a flippy driver, and I've never tried to stand it up and have it turn its whole way over there. Now in this wind, that could be crazy. Let's see what we got. Seemed to work pretty well. I don't want to encourage you to take bad lines. We still want to play within the realm of possibility here. So don't go out there and look at like something that's like a super tall set of trees and it's like 500 feet up in the air and you're like, oh, obviously the fun line is throwing a grenade over top, when in reality, you can't throw a grenade that high. But find shots, mess around with lines specifically that you've never thrown before, or throw discs on holes that you've never thrown before. You may even find yourself with birdie putts and opportunities that you don't normally have. Second option, if you're looking to spice things up or have a little fun, is to play a course or a layout that you've never played before. Now this can be a little difficult depending on the area you're in, but I really would encourage you, if you've been stuck in a rut, find somewhere to go travel to. Look within an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of where you live, and head out, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, or whatever your weekend is, depending on your work schedule, and find a course that you've never played before. Get out there, just enjoy it. For instance, if you're a newer player, you may find that you default to the easier layouts. So go play the pro pads for a little bit. Not because you want to like demoralize yourself, but just as a, wow, that went better than I expected, or maybe it went worse than what you expected. And it just lets you know like, hey, here's what the room and the growth potential that I have. It's all about the silver linings. My back is super tight, didn't get a ton of chances to stretch or warm up, but we're gonna try to go for it. And that disc might be gone forever. That's a great tree. We were totally going for the short pin. We weren't going for the short pin. Finding courses that you've never played before also can be such a fun breath of fresh air to your game. Because if you've played the same courses over and over again, well, the cool part is that you know those shots. You know what you're gonna throw on those shots, you know what disc to throw on those shots. Like for instance here, I was trying to kind of embrace the first tip, and I normally throw a fairway driver on this hole, but I thought, well, we've been getting a little more distance, a little more consistency. What if I went with my reactor to try to hit it, see what happens? Well, try to throw the reactor way too hard and I grip locked it and bad things happen. Going and finding somewhere new to play, like last time when I was up at Foundation for Worlds, went and played Bonita, which is a course that they don't play that often, and it gave an opportunity to see a new course, see a new track, throw some new shots, and really maybe lean on discs that have been in the bag that I haven't been using before. Now my third recommendation to spice things up is gonna be safari layouts. If you're not familiar with what a safari layout is where you take the traditional layout of the course, where you've played usually holes 1 through 9, 1 through 18, whatever it may be, and you sort of either monster mash, like mix holes together, or you create entirely different tee pads to play to different baskets so that you can utilize the equipment, because we all know baskets are by far the most expensive part of disc golf. But creating safari layouts has been really cool. In fact, we played recently at a course up in Gardendale that you guys have seen on the channel many times before. And when we got there, there was soccer happening on these fields that are way off to the right. And so hole 2, there were cars lining the entire fairway. So we just actually couldn't play hole 2. And we were like, but we still want to play 18 holes. And I thought, oh, I've done safari golf at this course before. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll play one of the safari holes as our 18. And so we threw from the tee pad of hole 5 across hole 6's fairway and then played to the basket of hole 7. Creates a really cool par 4 opportunity if you're on a course that's traditionally short and has a bunch of par 3s. But obviously there's some warnings that you got to give when you do safari golf. For instance, here I am, the short sleeve. You can see a little white pole between these 2 trees. That is the long pin location of hole 12 on this course. And then there is a blue bench off in the distance, and then about 120 feet past that is a yellow basket that is the basket for hole 16. So what I can do is I can say, hey, we're gonna build a safari hole. One way that's really fun is you get a group of people and you say, hey, we're gonna go to a course on a somewhat empty day and we are gonna play safari. Whoever loses the hole or takes the worst score gets to design the next hole. Really cool opportunity and really fun way to play safari golf. So they may post up here and be like, all right, it's actually a double mando between the 2 trees, and then it's also a mando left of the tree behind the basket up there. So you have to throw all the way down there. It's a par 3. Here we go, low ceiling, downhill. Let's see what we can do. All right. So it's a little cold outside. We're getting to that nice winter weather where my hand feeling is going away, which means that putting and forehands are gonna be less of a thing, which is, you know, kind of like the only things I'm good at in disc golf, so that's fun. But we made the first set of double mandos, now we have to pitch around the tree to the other one. Forehands have kind of gone out the wayside, so we have like the big skip shot, which is probably what we're gonna end up going with. We can actually position towards the basket, here we go, or towards the mando. I think technically we have to like position towards the mando until we clear the mando by rules. We're gonna try to go big flare shot out and around. Well, that's on camera for the rest of my life. And then now we have like a really long comebacker. Now, if I were to pass along a warning about safari rounds, it would be that is, you notice how I said go to a course when it's a little more empty. Parks are free use usually. And so we want to be respectful of other people that are using the park, whether they're camping or they are doing a host of other activities. We don't usually own the parks, but we want to make sure that when we're out here playing safari rounds, that if people are trying to play the course proper, you're not hitting other folks that are walking through. You want to keep your eyes on a swivel so that way you're also not getting hit by discs by people playing the course in a traditional way. You just want to be mindful of what other people are doing so that you don't lessen their disc golf experience at the expense of, you know, like you trying to have a good time. And then last but certainly not least for me is going to be bag swaps. I love bag swaps. Just did a bag swap with 3 friends out at a course this past Saturday. And what we did is we said that there's 18 holes. So you're gonna get someone else's bag for 6 holes, someone else's for 6, and another person's for 6. You get 3, or you get a third of the round with each person's bag. You're not gonna play with your bag the whole time. If you're a guy like me who is a mule who carries a lot of water, I would encourage like everyone moves their water bottles between because that can create a ton of the weight for it. But bag swaps are just a phenomenal experience because what it does is it gives you the opportunity to really try discs that you aren't normally going to throw, as well as giving you the opportunity to really feel out and like, hey, I never would have given this a chance, or I never heard of this disc before, and I'm actually like kind of sneaky good at throwing it. For instance, when we did this bag swap with a friend, I had not thrown the Wind Dragon, and so had a chance to throw it, but they had a really lightweight one, and I discovered that I don't really like that driver and super lightweight. But then conversely, another friend had an Arowana in her bag, which is a rubbery sort of, I think it's from Elevation Discs, really rubbery floppy disc. It was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed throwing it, especially on some straight tunnel shots, which was really cool. But it just gives you the chance to try things, and really maybe you end up finding a disc that you never would have thought of that becomes an absolute staple in your bag. For me, for instance, I had thrown zones before, but it wasn't until I did the bag swap with people recently that discovered that my zone grip, I was like shorting it, and that opened up me putting a brand new approach disc in my bag. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope that was helpful and gave you some ideas. If you're looking for fun in your disc golf game and you find yourself stalled out, trust me, you're not alone. You're not the only person who's ever experienced this. And I hope that you can sort of enjoy disc golf again, because I promise you, especially after we walked away playing that bag swap with friends, it was like, wow. He said, that was the most fun I've had playing disc golf in a minute. And all we did was just play regular disc golf. We just played with other people's discs. You can do a bag swap mid-round. You guys are playing with friends, you have a bad round, you're both playing bad, do a bag swap. Because that'll at least like give you a reason that you're playing bad. You're playing with discs you don't know. Highly, highly encourage these formats. Are there formats that you like to do, or things that you've helped spice up your game with that I didn't mention in this video? Let us know in the comments below. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, we're gonna leave you with the birdie.